So I decided to spend 100 days in Minecraft Pixelmon, capturing Pokemon, building a base, and conquering gym leaders. Pixelmon is a unique Minecraft mod that brings the game of Pokemon into Minecraft and gives you the ability to catch, train, and fight all different kinds of Pokemon in the world of Minecraft. This video is sponsored by PokeSaga, and today I'm playing on the PokeBlast realm, which is just one of the amazing realms that has plenty to offer. 9 different gyms, sweet features to love yourself and your Pixelmon friends, and over 850 Pokemon, all with custom textures, mini-games, daily quests, and so much more. During my 100 days, I was able to catch a legendary Pokemon, visit brand new biomes, and train my Pokemon to defeat 3 gyms, all in preparation to battle the server owner at the end of this video. Will we have trained enough to win? Well, let's find out. Check out the tutorial linked in the description to figure out how you too can join me on PokeSaga. Alright, and with that, day 1 begins on the PokeSaga server. We're playing on PokeBlast, and day 1 was all about choosing our starter Pixelmon. Naturally, I had to go with Gen 1, OG, and I picked myself out a nice Eevee. From that point on, it was time for us to further explore the PokeSaga server. Love it. Now, day 2, though, is where things started to get just a little bit more interesting as we began to explore the spawn, talk to various different NPCs in the area, and get a better grip of what was going on. On day 3, we managed to open up a couple Omega crates, which is a very special feature that you can pay for on this server in order to get some unique tokens, shiny keys, or sometimes even some OP tools like a God fishing rod. Look at the stats on that thing. Now, day 4 was when we began to explore the wilderness a little bit to maybe find us some Pokemon. Using the command/RTP took us to various different areas in the world so that we could begin checking out all of the various different Pixelmon that we would be able to locate in this world. And we did that for day 4 as well as day 5. What you're seeing right here is me using the command a couple different times to find new areas for us to find Pixelmon and ultimately gather some supplies and figure out exactly what it is we need to do, making sure to check out some of the apricot and berry trees nearby as well, get a little bit of mining in, just doing the whole thing. We eventually made our way into the caves alongside exploring this general wilderness area, collecting various resources along the way in the event we needed to use them for some Pokeballs down the road. We even happened across our very first Pixelmon battle against a Machop of all things. Now, naturally, Eevee had absolutely no problem taking out Machop. It did get close, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you can see the health right there. Things got a little bit nasty, but we managed to take on Machop and defeat him, gaining some experience for my brand new starter Pokemon. Now, on day 6, we began building up our base because obviously we need a place to call home in this world, and it made perfect sense to do it out in the open. Lovely. Now, cobblestone, you know how it goes, right? You gotta have a base of some sort. On day 7, we continued constructing our base, making the most of the area. Look at all those Pixelmon flying around. Getting further along in day 8, we continued gathering supplies of various different sorts, cooking up some iron, making things happen, expanding on our base. Day 9 was a lot more of the same as we began putting the final finishing touches on this lovely base, setting up some chests. Got to dump all of our goodies in there, naturally. You never know when you're going to need more of those. And then, by day 10, our base was finished, and it was time to get back to training our Pokemon. Pokemon, it's all the same thing, right? Taking on a Whismur, doing some basic Pixelmon attacks, and I gotta say, it wasn't much of a challenge for my good old Eevee. We even got our very first level up, getting all the way up to level 6, defeating the Whismur, grabbing a couple drops, and we were right on to day 11, where we continued to explore around, and we took on a battle we clearly were not ready for. I mean, this Blissey was not Bliss at all. Completely. Well, I mean, I guess we defeated Blissey, but all the same, you're going to have to watch out because we're going to be revisiting that Blissey down the road quite often. Now, we got all the way up to level 25 with our Eevee. very, very quickly in handling that. And we got our first opportunity to take on a brand new move. I was having a little bit of trouble figuring out which attack that I wanted to get rid of. I mean, look, we've got so many different options to choose from. A whopping 4. But eventually, I decided that we were going to replace Covet with Baby Doll Eyes. I mean, what other move would you rather an Eevee have, right? It makes a lot of sense. We even had Swift, and we replaced that with Quick Attack, and it just kept going. Now, on day 12, we got back to training, taking on some more Pixelmon mobs that we found, using that new Bite move to great effect, and taking out the nearby Pat Rat. And, you know, you got a couple seeds, this drops, nothing too remarkable. But the training continued. Now at level 25 with our Eevee, things were starting to get a little bit more experienced. Now, on day 13, we decided to check out a couple new things by using the Biome RTP command to explore some of the various different biomes found on the PokeBlast realm. Fantastic stuff. So many different choices, continuing to train, continuing to get ourselves some supplies, and naturally continuing to explore the area around our base and make sure that it was a proper place to call home. And it all the way through day 14 until day 15 was a whole bunch of base improvements. Day 16, getting supplies ready for an enchantment table, getting everything we need in order to make some serious upgrades to what was going on. We even happened to find some very special ores, but on day 18, I hesitate to tell you exactly what happened. It was honestly the saddest story when I decided to catch some diamond out of the corner of my eye, only to see, oh gosh, almost all of it fell into lava. The saddest story I've ever seen. I didn't know what to do, but we managed to get a handful of the diamonds nonetheless. Hopefully, we don't need too many of those. Now, day 19 rolled around. It was time for us to use the Warp Shop command so that we could trade some of these ores that we've been collecting in order to stack our bank up in-game and free up some money to buy some very special blocks like some Pokegrass. Ooh. And we're going to be able to use that to great effect later on. Now, day 20 was my first attempt at taking on a gym leader on the server. And as you can see, Swampert was a little much for us, okay? So we had to recollect ourselves. You know, I had to build myself up, try and capture myself a Poliwag. It gave me a little bit of trouble, but eventually, you'll see here, we managed to snag an additional Pixelmon for our party. Zigzagoon giving us the same struggles on day 21 there, but inevitably, they gave up, and they became one of our own. Fantastic. Now, on day 22, we ran into one of my favorite Pixelmon, Charizard. And despite putting up a little bit of a battle, we managed to capture this sucker. And our catching skill went up by a level. On day 24, we ran into a nasty Ghastly. Hey, that kind of rhymes. And the worst possible thing could have happened when attempting to fight this Ghastly. Our Eevee pushed us into lava, and the moment I tried to escape, I also had to escape from the lava so that I wouldn't lose it. But we ended up capturing the Ghastly, and it ended up going all the way to our storage PC. Now, on day 26, it was time for us to begin training our new Pokemon team. We even had a little Pikachu in our box there. Day 27, we'd done a lot of training, and it was time for us to heal all of our Pixelmon up, grab a couple extra goodies from the nearby area, and once again, head over to Blissey. Now, I'll spare you. On day 28, we decided to, check out our base, check out some of the different things nearby, as well as highlight some of the special functions of this server. Speaking of highlight, we could add highlights to our various Pixelmon, and on day 29, you saw a little bit of that. Maybe we revisit Rayquaza doing that just a little bit later. Day 30 was a catch-up on sprucing up the local house area, and on day 31, I decided to use the /holo command to create an amazing welcome message for anyone that happened to come around my base. Welcome to Logdotzip's base. So good. Day 32, the shenanigans continued as we cleared out the area from our base. On day 33, we opened up some crates, got a couple extra goodies, some incense, which is fantastic for catching Pixelmon. So good. Now, here's the thing. On day 34, it was time for us to play a little bit of Pixelmon Bingo, which is an awesome command you'll be able to run in-game to have some seriously cool stuff happen. Day 35, we continued on with Pixelmon Bingo, needing to capture certain types of Pixelmon in order to complete the bingo set. And Saravia was giving us some serious trouble trying to throw those pixel balls all over the place. But we managed to catch him, and we began filling out that bingo disc. Now, up next, speaking of, Love Disc was up next, and underwater battles a little bit more difficult than anyone would have expected, but it came around and we got Love Disc. Now on day 37 we decided to capture ourselves another Pixelmon, and on day 38 we decided to take Eevee out and try to take on another Zigzagoon. Well, you saw how it went. Day 39 was more of the same, filling out that bingo card, making sure we had a chance to get everything we needed in order to win on bingo. And we carried on doing that through day 40, through day 41. It just keeps on going. It's a seriously cool challenge that you'll be able to take on yourself when you join the PokeSaga server. Dynamo, no problem. We've almost finished out a row of Pixelmon bingo. And on day 42, as you can see right here, it was time for us to bust out the Rayquaza. That's right. We got some serious experience for our trouble. All the way up to level 70 for Rayquaza already. Eevee slowly getting there. And on day 42, as we continue to explore the nearby biomes, we managed to get ourselves an option to get a really cool accessory. And you can imagine which one I chose. Hey, looking real snazzy with those glasses on, huh? Now on day 43, it was time for us to figure out the final Pixelmon bingo row. Plus Isle made it all happen. So good. And once I completed the row, I got $25,000. So good. Can't spend the money yet, though. It's time to grind, and we used our warp in order to re-heal our Pixelmon so that we could carry on grinding, going to some of the local NPCs, getting some evolutions going on, our swine up becoming Pillow Swine. You know how it goes. Getting some new attacks, swapping out which Pixelmon we were trying to train with, which Pixelmon we were trying to grind away at, and really just making it happen. I gotta say, the evolutions that you can watch on this server are so cool, and it wasn't long before our Ghastly became Haunter, which is one of my other favorite Pixelmons. Blissey is such bliss. Day 46, day 47, kept on rolling through. We kept on visiting with Blissey, kept on getting our experience higher and higher and higher. And you could see Eevee went to town getting so many levels at once. And pretty soon we were having a pretty respectable party of Pixelmon, nice and leveled up. Now on day 48, we ran into one of our first boss fights. This was a smaller boss fight, but all the same, it was worthwhile. Day 49, though, was when we ran into a haunted tower, and we had to explore that one a little bit to see what was going on with all of the spoopy Pixelmon that continued to show up there. Now, I decided to carve my own path and get to the top one way or another, but you know, your results may vary as to how you want to tackle that. Now, on day 50, it was the Poke Party. And look at that. We have to give a big thanks for our Shiny Mankey, which is the newest addition to our Pixelmon crew. Now check this guy out. Oh my gosh. What an interesting color, huh? Now, day 51, we decided to take that Mankey and begin leveling him up. And the same for day 52, just grinding out with Mankey. Poor guy's probably the first time a Mankey's ever been used in Pixelmon. Now, on day 53, it was time for us to try out another server feature known as the Pokehunt. And we were on the search for a Lediba. The easy tier. You know, you got to start it out slow but surely. And you can use the /wiki to get an idea of the times of day as well as the locations that you'll be able to find various different Pixelmon. And as you saw right there, with using the wiki, we had no problem in locating a Lediba. However, you know, the catching experience was a bit of a different story. Day 53 continued on with that hunt, though, and we inevitably got our hands on that Pixelmon hunt. Active and completed. Love it. Oh my gosh, there's so many features on the server. I am such a big fan. We had a lot of Pokehunts active, but with Lediba captured, we had completed our first easy tier hunt. And so now, on day 54, it was time for the harder hunt, or I suppose in this case, the medium hunt. And at that point, it was time for us to try our best to throw some pixel balls into the air and try and grab ourselves a Swablu. Gave us a little bit of trouble at first, but we picked them up all the same. That hunt is also now completed. So good. Give me those goodies. Day 55, we decided to use the fossil Pokemon device in order to hatch this Pixelmon. Yeah, looking real good. And eventually we hit 100% on that system, eventually allowing us to retrieve our Pixelmon from the fossil device, and we got ourselves a Tirtogugla. I don't know how to say that. We're not going to worry too much about it. Day 56, it was time for us to begin training some skills with PokeMMO, which is another amazing server feature. And if you were to use the /warp hostel, you could go to an area of the server that will allow you to fight regular Minecraft mobs in order to train up our skills. And so we did that at Warp Hostel for day 57 as well as day 58. Slowly climbing, slowly increasing our chances for various different experience, for different types of mob loot, just making it happen. At this point, we had gathered a whole bunch of keys from various different skills, and on day 59, we decided to open some of those, getting us some Great Balls as well as an Ultra Ball for our trouble. Park Balls, Level Balls, all the balls. Now on day 60, it was time for us to take on a gym leader, as well as, get some training in, make sure we had a chance. And Trade Sim 4 allowed us to turn our Haunter into its very next evolution. Gengar! And we took on the Dragon Gym NPC, and it was time for Gengar to show his might. At level 100, we had him, and we had Charizard going to town. Now, as you can see, Charizard had a little bit of a struggle, and, well, let's just say it didn't go too well. So, we're a little wet behind the ears still. On day 61, though, it was continuous gym training. Had to make it happen. Back to Blissey, back to those easy levels, back to making it happen. And we did that for a mess of time. On day 62, we did it. On day 63, we did it. Just getting all of our Pixelmon up to proper speed so that we could eventually take on even more gyms and actually have a chance of winning as well. Day 64, our training continued. Even on day 65, we did a couple more training sessions, busting out Rayquaza, making sure everyone knows who's boss. And we got to level 71 with Rayquaza, and eventually we got all the way up to level 100 across the board for all of them. Now, on day 66, we decided to upgrade our Pixelmon and get them some better moves by using the move tutor that is found on the server. Fantastic. Gengar looking fresh with some brand new moves. It's all coming together. Now, day 67, we went back to the Dragon Gym, and this time we were going to show them who was boss. And naturally, you're seeing that fight unfold right now. Day 67, using Outrage against the Dragon NPC gym leader, and guess what? We managed to take it home. We won the battle. So sweet. I gotta say, we got a whopping $12 for our trouble. So good. Now, on day 68, it was time for us to decide which gym to next train for. Not before our Pillow-Swine decided to take things into his own hands, or should I say his own tusks. I guess he's got hands. Well, he's kind of got feet. Anyways, Pillow-Swine becoming its very next evolution, Mamoswine. On day 69, we continued to train so that we could be ready for the next gym, busting out that Mamoswine, and guess what? Come to find out shortly after that Mamoswine was also ready for a brand new set of moves. Superpower. We're going to have to say goodbye to one of these moves. I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of Powder Snow. I mean, the other power just sounded way better. Time for us to take on the Ice Gym Leader. Taking out my finest of Pixelmon. Mamoswine, Charizard, making it happen. I mean, what do you expect? Fire against ice? The competition was melted. We had no problem defeating this gym leader. Not only did we get ourselves the Icicle badge, but we also got our hands on a very special TM. TM13. Day 72 was a little bit more light. Playing with some of our awards, getting some apricorns, running some commands, making sure that we were growing everything necessary, collecting from all the various trees so that we could begin using the fruits of those trees, planting them on day 73 so that we could begin making our very own pixel balls. And we had plenty of apricorn seeds to plant, and boy did we plant them. On day 74 we got to see them begin growing in size, and not only that, but we got our hands on a very special shiny Geodude. How cool is this guy? Really like the color scheme on him as well. Now, we continued on planting more seeds, letting Geodude roam free, and on day 75, we continued to collect, getting so many different types of apricorns. So good. Day 75 was the same story. Now, on day 76, it was time for us to head to the ocean and get enough shards from underwater to get our hands on a special water stone. And you may have an idea of what we did with that water stone. Well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Eevee, it's time. Evolve into the one and only Vaporeon. Vaporeon, so majestic. Now, it was time for day 78, where we took a whole bunch of the items that we've been buying from the shop to decorate our house and make it look lovely. Day 79, it was time to defeat Gym Leader 3, also known as Steve. And it went a little bit rough, but we managed to just barely take it. With 3 HP left on Charizard, we got another TM alongside a brand new badge. Day 80 brought a friend. Alex the Noob decided to join us on the PokeSaga server, PokeBlast realm, and we had a punching party. But it was time for Alex to learn the ropes about Pixelmon as well. And on day 81, we decided to take to making Alex's house, as well as, you know, upgrading mine a little bit and showing off the way that you guys can decide to build on your world as well. Put on those cool guy glasses and don't worry too much about it. Day 82, we gathered some more apricorns, stone, and iron to prepare for making our very own pixel balls. So good. And on day 83, we made ourselves the anvil that we needed in order to make that happen. And it was time for us to make a mechanical anvil. Different bits and pieces of some Ultra Balls, hammering away, making it happen. And on day 84, we gave Alex some of those pixel balls that we had made. So easy to make those, by the way, so that we could let Alex capture some Pixelmon of her own. And she went for a Phanpy, and on day 85, we got to celebrate that together. She even got some Pixelmon underwater. And day 86 continued on with Alex collecting more and more Pixelmon for her Pixelmon arsenal. Those are some interesting looking Pixelmon you've chose. And of course, we had to throw in another OG, the Diglett. Although Alex was trying to whack-a-mole that poor thing into the ground. She ended up capturing some more Pixelmon, and come day 87, it was time for us to begin making things happen. We assembled our crew and took on Alex the Noob in our very first ever Pixelmon battle. Now, did I hold back against Alex? Well, you can kind of see right here. We kind of wiped the floor with her. Sorry, Alex. It's nothing personal. I just don't like you that much. I'm just kidding. Alex is the best. Cool guy sunglasses. Not a problem. But on day 88, we had to relift her spirits, and we healed up her Pixelmon, took her to Blissey so that she could level up some of her Pixelmon as well. And on day 89, it was time for us to take on Alex in our very next rematch. Metapod versus Vaporeon. Believe it or not, it was a pretty decent fight when the Gyarados came out because, well, I mean, look, Gyarados is a pretty nasty creature there. So maybe Alex has a chance. Maybe. I mean, she did manage to take out a couple of my Pixelmon, so I was pretty impressed by that. The cool guy glasses can't keep me from looking that embarrassed. On day 90, though, one of the coolest features of the PokeBlast realm is a world boss. This is an event that will happen from time to time, and we happened to cross a giant septile creature. And upon defeating it, we received one boss key. So good. And we could use that key to open up a boss crate. And the moment we did, we got our hands on 50 $1,000. Now on day 91, it was time to enter into one of the various dimensions found on the server. This one, Nether themed, so we could find even more loot and special Pixelmon. And we went to loot a fortress, got some extra goodies, put those away into our player vault, which is a special area where we could store items of our own. And on day 92, it was time to look around, capture some additional Pixelmon found only in this dimension, and really begin stacking our arsenal of Pixelmon collections. On day 93, we found ourselves entering into a very interesting area known as the Ultra Space, with some strange gravitational effects occurring at all times, as well as some ores and resources for us to gather, with a very strange blue hue across the sky that carried on to day 94, where we continued exploring the various different biomes found within this Ultra Space, gathering all sorts of new blocks, ores, mineral blocks, I mean the works. It was all over the place. We got some serious goodies there. I was quite happy about it. And on day 95, we decided to set a home in Ultra, don a little bit of a new hat, and make sure that we could come back at a moment's notice. On day 95, we continued onwards by grabbing ourselves a special new type of Pixelmon ball known as the Beast Ball. And once we got ourselves one of those Beast Balls, we managed to add it to our disposal, because on day 96, we used the incense to get even more Pixelmon nearby, because incense is amazing at gathering all sorts of new Pixelmon nearby. And we decided to catch an Ultra Pokemon in this Ultra Space using that incense. Charizard is always one of my greatest assets, and once we had Charizard out, it was no problem capturing that Nihilego. It was so good that on day 97, we decided to go to another area, the End Dimension, where there were some space and teleportation psychic-like Pixelmon littered all across the landscape. Abra giving us a little bit of trouble, constantly teleporting. You know how Abra goes, right? But all the same, we managed to try our best to capture one of those Abra, and, I mean, what do you expect happens when you use such an amazing Pixel Ball? We managed to get our hands on an Abra too, only to find that it was time to return to Blissey on day 98 to gear up and get ready for the final fight on the server. So we took all of our creatures, continued battling, making sure that we were getting all of our levels and really making things happen. Not only on day 98, but on day 99 as well. I mean, look at that party. That is impressive. So on the final day before day 100, we taught some new moves, healed up our Pixelmon, and really prepared to take on the server owner on day 100, Super Cool Momo. Do they stand a chance? Well, I don't think so. We've got a pretty decent roster of Pixelmon here, and I've got my cool guy sunglasses as well, and it was just time. And so we took on Super Cool Momo, and you can see how the fight unfolded with all of our different Pixelmon at play. Some of them didn't do too hot. Vaporeon had a little bit of trouble, eventually fainting. It's all right, though. We instantly jumped to our next option, Nihilego, and, you know, you can see right there, it didn't go too well for us either. But it's okay. We still had Mamoswine to help us somewhat, and, you know, did, you know, a moderate amount of damage, but, you know, well, look, I'll put it this way. You can see the fight unfolding right now. I guess it makes sense that the server owner would be a heck of a battle for us to take on, but despite our best efforts with using it, it was not as easy a battle as I thought it would be, and Super Cool Momo kept busting out with amazing Pixelmon to contend against our very own Dragapult, giving us some serious trouble until we decided to bring out Charizard once again for a final hurrah. Charizard low on health, seeing if we could make things work between, and we tried our best to heal with Charizard's Roost, but it turned out that Blastoise was the perfect fit against our Charizard, water being strong against fire. Guys, it just wasn't looking good on day 100. There is so much we still need to do on this Pixelmon server. There is so much to explore, and despite our best efforts, we ended up losing against Super Cool Momo. It's time for us to get back to training. So we'll see you for another 100 days. Make sure you check out the server on your own. The IP is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this 100 days in Pixelmon.